Thanks to SOF for joining the coaching team as a channel member. Quick service announcement time. Until the 29th of December, this channel is proudly sponsored by HelloFresh UK. You can get discounts on fresh recipes and meal kits delivered to your door. You can use the code down in the description at checkout or the link down there as well, and you'll get 50% off your first box and 35% off the 3 after. Time for our top tier summer transfer special, and this one has been spectacular. A record sale from the club, I'm sure you won't need to be told who it is. Some new signings, somehow an upgrade in that position, and the first game of the season against an old foe. This one is going to be blockbuster. Yes, hello and welcome along to part 36 of this Build a Nation save from Distillery with me, Daniel. We're back today for our summer transfer special as we head into season 5 of this series, and we have now got the chance for the first time to show how good we are in the top tier. Of course, I don't need to show you who got promoted with us and who stayed up via the playoffs, because you can see our first game of the season is a renewal of that epic title race against Portadown last year. There's big transfer news, as I mentioned in the intro, a record sale out, I'm sure you can guess who it is, and somehow a better replacement on a free. Let's go straight to the transfer screen though, because I'm a very excited man. And as always, we have to start with the players who have left the club, and obviously thank some of those who have given us service. I'm not sure if I mentioned McVarnock leaving during last season, so a quick thank you to him. But then among the first teamers that left last summer, Jack Chambers, Jordan Jenkins, Sienna Foster and Darius Ruhi. They're probably the 4 standout names there. 4 that were regulars off the bench in the last year or two, and those that have contributed, particularly in Chambers' case, to our promotion from the 3rd tier as well. So lots of real genuine thanks to some of those players, because although they weren't ready and capable of playing in the top tier, they have done a wonderful job for this football club and been a huge part of the fact that we are now there. So 4 first teamers out of the club, a few youngsters that have gone as well, but there are also some more players that have left via other means, so let's go and look at them. As we go to the transfers at the end of last season, ignore the 5-ins all on loan, we'll talk about them in a minute. Of course, desperate to try and make the most of our affiliation with Linfield before it was terminated when we reached the top tier. But 3 players left the club, none of them near the first team in recent times, but Lewis Higginson, if you remember, did play for us first season, so a quick shout out to him as well. Into this season, 5 more players have left the club. First of them is Diego McGann. He has left to go to Bangor. I don't blame him because he wasn't going to be near the team. I think he made 3 sub appearances in all competitions last year. I can understand why he wanted to go. But another one who in the 3rd tier was really crucial for us. Colin Robinson has gone out on loan again. He's gone to Newington, or I think are in the 3rd tier. Not quite got the potential now, but he's one of those who signed a permanent deal, one that's on a part-time with a proper wage and allows him to actually train. So I'm hopeful that he'll improve if he gets a season of football with that. There are loads of youth players we did that for. One of them we couldn't was Chris Hassim, because he chose to go to Portadown Reserves, where he's going to continue his development. At 19 and being a right winger, he's probably behind Buchanan in our youngsters' development, so I can understand why he didn't want to stay. We'll come back to the big one in a minute. Very quickly though, Marty Bell has gone out on loan. Bit worried about the personality, but he's got a contract, he's training. He didn't really improve in a mentoring group for a year, so I figured why not just loan him out, see if the football makes a difference. Then it's the big one. Then it's the deal we'd been fearing for a while. I'm glad it waited till the end of the year. I'm disappointed it came just before the season, but it did mean we could get in an even better player and save the 60 odd grand, albeit we're going to make that up in wages later down the line. But Dylan McLean has gone to TNS for £64,000. Now, that wasn't a transfer fee that was accepted. You know he was out of contract, so unfortunately for us, they just paid the compensation and off he went. I can see he's played a Europa League qualifier and then got injured. Has he got a sell-on clause, though? I didn't look to see that. Let's just have a look if we've got anything else. No, that's a real shame, because if we'd even had a 10% sell-on, that kid's going to go for £500,000 at some point. Would have probably doubled our money. But either way, £64,000 is a record transfer for the club, wiped out 3/4 of our debt immediately. I was starting to look at it and worry and thinking about wage savings and that, because at the start of the month, I mean, that offer only came in 2 days before, we were 80 grand in debt. So it's made a real difference to our bank balance. So those are the players that have left the club. Basically, as you can see, is what we'd planned in our squad planner last time out. And it did mean that instead of having 2 first team signings coming in, we had to get 3 because we lost our left back as well. But the rest of it is just backup signings, and that is in the form of 5 loan players. Of course, you already knew that Aidan McDowell was rejoining as well, so we won't worry about that. He will be our starting centre-half this season, which, looking at him, maybe is a little bit of a worry. Let's look at the 5 that have joined on loan though. Jonathan Mukhelhatton is basically the new Jordan Jenkins. He's our sub-striker. He's on loan until December, which is when he's out of contract at Linfield. I'm hoping he'll do all right for us, play off the right, play up front, be a good substitute, and then maybe join us permanently, because you could argue he's got the potential to be better than Leon Boyd. We'll see how that pans out as we go along. But really good backup, strengthens the bench, and that's something I've wanted to focus on this year. Can we improve the squad beyond the first 11? That's where we were weakest last season. We bought in from Coleraine on loan at Wayne Murphy next. He was the first player who I thought was going to be one of the 3 first team replacements this summer, because he is a right back of 3.5-star ability. He is technically still the best rated at the club, but I don't think he's going to start. Not the best going forward, not the fittest, not the best personality, but a very good defender, a very solid player, and to be fair, he's going to be a good part of our squad. So Wayne Murphy, he is in at right back and he's going to be very close to the first team, but I don't think a starter. I'll show you why in a minute. I don't know why it keeps doing this since the update, going back to the new season instead of staying on the old one. Third player, Padraig Meany. He comes in from Linfield as a centre midfielder. He can play number 10 as well. Gives us an extra option with the Convy situation. He's going to have to play on the left for now. And in midfield, obviously we lost Chambers. Obviously we lost Beck, who left his loan. So we are needing 2 players in there. He's one of them. I don't mind Crow and Levingston starting. I said that before. But Meany just gives us depth as a substitute. And the same will go for the other one from Linfield, which is Ian Walker. Now, he had the benefit of being a natural on the right wing and being able to play off the left as well. He's a little bit better in terms of the playmaker role, but again, probably will be a substitute. I see him as actually quite similar to Jack Chambers, and I've got no problem with him replacing him. They're both on loan from the season. They're both backup players. And it just means we don't have to, for our squad, in case we go down, in case we struggle financially and need to save money, I haven't had to spend on filling the squad for a level that I don't know I'm going to be playing at in a year's time. So, versatile players, good youngsters, decent enough to be on the bench. I've got no problems. I'm happy with them. The last loan player was another one from Coleraine. Jack Donaghy came in. He is a young central defender. 3-star ability, again left-footed. I don't know what it is this year. Every centre-half is left-footed. He's a good player at 5'10", but he's got jumping reach, so there's something on his side. Very aggressive. I won't want him to be a starter, but he's training well. He scored a goal in 2 appearances for Coleraine, and he will be on our bench again this year. Just filling the squad depth. That's all we kept doing with those loans. On to this season, though, and we can finally stay on this screen. We've got the excitement, because these are the 3 players that have filled those voids in the first team. We needed a right back, we needed a left back after McLean left, and we needed either a number 10 or left winger, with Convy filling the other. So the first one is Daniel Dobbin, who I nearly signed ahead of Wayne Murphy before, didn't because his wage demands were quite big, but then around mid-July his club released him, his wage demands dropped. I still didn't have an 8th defender. I basically had 3 centre-halves, a right back, and then McGill, who could do one or the other. So like the situation with Convy, I said, who's the best centre-half or right back we can get? And then this guy got released. Daniel Dobbin, 25-year-old Republic of Ireland player. He is decent enough at 3-star ability, 4.5 potential, modest enough wage for the top tier. Most of our new signings are about that level. 5'11", good enough in the air. He's not really a standout in any area. He's just a really solid player. He's also going to be our vice-captain because he's a good leader. He's determined, likes to get forward, and isn't the worst at putting the ball in the box. So Daniel Dobbin, overall, I feel is a more balanced player than Murphy. He's fitter as well for 2 games a week, and he just offers us more going forward. So Daniel Dobbin will be my first choice. The second one is the best signing I think we'll ever make in this save. Because if Dylan McLean going was disappointing, to have this guy who we'd been tracking all summer, not quite been able to get at a reasonable wage, and still probably didn't, to be able to get him straight in as the replacement, I am so thrilled. From Ballyclare, it is Curtis Bell. 5-star ability, 5-star potential, 210 quid a week, yes, but a 3-year contract, no release clause. This guy, and I'm going to say it now very confidently, will be our first big money sale. And I mean one where we're in control, we get a sell on, and we get probably 6 figures. Great character. Physically, he's phenomenal. He's good pace, he's good stamina, natural fitness exceptional. He's even got what we had from Dylan McLean, which is being over 6 foot and good in the air from set pieces. He's a good tackler defensively. He's maybe not the best going forward, but with his pace, that will come in time. And I'm just so thrilled. He even gives us the option later down the line. If we want to go to a back 3, him and Dobbin are both pretty confident as wing backs. So depending on how we go, when we get to Europe in the future, if he's still here, he's going to be a big part of this squad. He's an under-19 international for Northern Ireland, and he's absolutely brilliant. So happy with that signing. And then in the last position, which is the number 10/left winger, I have had to go for the second option because the first one won't agree wage terms. So Killian Heaney comes in. We do still need an extra backup in that area or an extra signing, so he could yet become our number 2 player there. But for now, he's a starter. He's 3-star ability. He's a number 10 that can play centre mid and up front. He's fairly professional. He's 24. He's played a lot of first team football in the Republic. And he's just really solid. He's okay mentally. He's okay technically. And physically, he's good enough to play twice a week. So for 110 quid a week on a 2-year deal, I don't think we could turn it down. And again, he's got big potential. So if these guys are now getting regular football at a higher level, if they're training regularly because they're all on contracts, I don't see how this can go wrong. The only problem is if we get relegated first year, and I feel we've got just enough to stay up. If we do that, even if it's in the bottom half, we will go from strength to strength quickly because these lads will improve from first team football. What could also help us as we get into the season is the 2 players that I've got on trial and want to sign. Whether the wages will allow us to do that later on, I don't know. But Barry Coffey is the first choice number 10, and you can see the difference if we're able to get him. He is probably the best midfielder we've ever had at this club in any capacity. If we can keep him, if we can find a way to get him as a number 10, who likes to get in the area, who's good in the air, who likes to have long shots, who's a good passer, I mean, sky could be the limit for that kid at 25, but still, he's not going to be agreeing yet because he wants 500 quid a week. Our top paid player is Curtis Bell on 210. The other option is Ethan Ross in goal. Connor Mitchell just starting to decline again physically, not looking at his best now. So when this guy popped up in our scout report, someone I think we've had before somewhere, I felt like we had to get him in. He's only 29 years of age. He's English, of course. He's not the best kicker of the ball, but we can play out from the back. That's all right. Has been playing for the likes of York, Stockport, Radcliffe in the lower leagues in England, but would be a massive upgrade if we could sign him. Not sure if it's going to happen. Again, it wants about 350, 400 quid a week. But if they can edge their demands down, so if Ethan Ross I can get for the same price as Curtis Bell, I'll do it. That's what we're sort of looking for. If we go and have a look at the transfer screen, we've still got 640 quid of wage budget available, which would basically be those 2 players. The transfer budget I'm saving because the finances still aren't great, but we have got a season to be optimistic about. I mentioned the likes of Buchanan, Miller, all signed proper contracts, so they are now working at the club permanently. 45 quid a week is the top one, Buchanan, and he's training regularly. So I hope he's going to improve as the season goes on, and he's in that mentoring group. So fingers crossed, Daniel McGill can have that big influence and he can get them up to model citizen, or at least bring a little bit of professionalism in. We'll wait and see. Let's have a look at the schedule though for how the season starts, because it is going to be quite a crucial month for us. We play Portadown at home, who of course got promoted with us, Carrick are a regular bottom half side, and Miola Park in a cup lower league opposition. We get in September, we play Glentoran, Larne, Linfield, all the regulars in Europe. It starts to get tricky. So results in these 2 games are going to be crucial. Let's have a look at the Premiership preview and see who's expected to finish where. We are expected to finish bottom, Portadown expected to finish 9th. So have they improved more than us in a transfer window? Well, they bought Hassim from us. McGinty and Hall are very good players. So in fairness, Yes, they have improved just as much. This is going to be a really interesting season. Are we going to be able to compete as much as we think? How have they managed to get in such good players? Larne are in the Europa Conference playoff, so they could yet be in the group stages for that. This nation is starting to look pretty good. The league depth is certainly better than before. If you consider when we were in the second tier, the best player Ballymena had, the runaway leaders, was Albert Press. He's now the favourite for player of the season and playing at Linfield, earning 1.8 grand a week. And sadly, it looks like he might be leaving the nation. He's wanted by Southampton. That's the level we're talking about. So this is the stage where the save really starts to hot up. We've got to stay up first season, but then beyond that, we start to push, and we start to push big. I'm hopeful we won't finish 12th, maybe the media just underestimating us again. But let's go and get into the first game and find out. It's the only way we're going to know. And let's be honest, with a game like this, we probably have to win. We certainly cannot afford to lose. I'm looking at the table and thinking us, Portadown, Dergview, and then maybe Carrick or Ballymena near the bottom. We are the relegation favourites. So let's get through the tactical meeting. Let's pick our 11 for today. We'll be back in a minute to run through the team that will lead our first game on the return to Northern Ireland's top tier. Right then, you will not be surprised to know that I've not changed the tactic. I've not really changed the squad too much. It is just the 3 new additions that come into the team. And one of the things I'm proudest of here, given the lack of loan rules in Northern Ireland, is that we come into this with 11 players that we own, this football club own, and most of them are youngsters that will get better in the future. We have got a little bit of squad depth issues still because 5 loanees on the bench, youngster Buchanan, out of contract Mark Edgar. Off the bench is just Kids and Greg O'Cox, who we've only kept on a pay-as-you-play deal until we can get another left winger or attacking midfielder in. So our 11 in full for this game is Connor Mitchell in goal. Dobbin and Bell are the new fullbacks with Orkin and McDowell as centre-half. We've got Levingston and Crowe in central midfield. Latifa and Convey, who's over on the left wing rather than number 10 at the minute. And then Heaney behind Leon Boyd up front, the latest player who's unhappy about the lack of upgrade to training facilities. But if he can get scoring, if he can get playing well, I'm hopeful that'll change very quickly. He was the hero that got us here. I'm not going to lose faith in him just yet. But hopefully this side can lead us to glory, or at least survival, in the Northern Irish Prem. Let's go and get into our first game of the season. Against our fellow promoted side Portadown, will the epic battle continue? And here we go. Loads of changes for both sides, of course, from the last game of last season. But lots of familiarity in this Portadown side. Still Declan Dunn in goal, who caused us all sorts of problems. The new signing Ben Hall is in there. But then you've still got Balday and Gorn going forward. Sally's not there, who was their top scorer last year. There's a few good players on the bench too. So let's go and get through the dressing room. Let's go and tell the lads that we want to make our advantage count. Home form is got to be good. The tactics are the same. Largely the squad is the same. So hopefully the outcome will be the same as most of last year. We did win our last game against Portadown. I'm hoping that'll be a good omen. I didn't realise till I was tweaking the tactics and that for this season just how tall our side is. Almost all over 6 foot now. We should be physically imposing. Be interesting to see what the attendance is too. Into the first half of the first game of the season is a very familiar foe, but will the outcome be any different? And to be fair, with just over 10 minutes gone, we've dominated the stats without having a highlight. And here we are with a James Convey free kick. Can you start in style? Not quite. Off the outside of the woodwork, never really looked like going in. But it stays goalless as Dunn goes for the kick. Straight to Dobbin, who intercepts for Heaney. 2 of the new signings combined there. Got a man out wide on the right. Continues going himself. Brilliant work. What a solo move that was. Tipped over the bar by Dunn. The shot was comfortable for him. It's a fabulous bit of work from the number 10. As Levingston will take the corner. From the third tier, where he was the big man getting on the end of it at 5'10", he's now the player taking it. The shortest one of the attacking pros. Heaney on the edge to Orkin. Gets it back to him. Just wide. We're playing scintillating stuff. Well, 5 minutes to half time. We've had 13 shots, only 2 on target. Portadown nothing, as it's a Convey free kick just outside the post again. It's a very good display, but we've got to get the goal as Levingston puts it into Orkin. Headers onto the post and it's cleared away. Oh, don't be one of those games. We did have a game like this last year, didn't we, against Portadown? We battered them. We went in level at half time. And they scored the winner in the second half. 1.5 expected goals. 68% of the ball. Dominated the match. Where on earth is the goal threat? Leon Boyd might have to come off soon. Maybe that youngster from Linfield is going to save the day. I'm feeling like I might have to do it because an unhappy striker is currently costing us as Orkin wins a header to Latifa. Just give us that opener and I'm sure the goals will flow. Levingston wide to Convey on the left-hand side. Has support. Instead cuts in, back to his familiar number 10 position. Levingston chips over towards Boyd, can't quite win it. And here comes the counter-attack. Gallagher's intercepted by Heaney. Latifa shoots off the post, inside of the post and dribbles along the 6-yard box. That is so infuriating. Convey back to the edge again, it peters out. 21 shots, 7 on target. And with 25 to go, I feel I've got to make changes because Levingston's struggling. Let's get on Ian Walker for him. I'm going to take off unhappy Boyd for McAlatten. This is where the young loan signings come into their own. Who else do we bring off? Convey on the left, we've got no replacement. Could push Bell further forward, but he's not the best in attack. So I think for now, we're going to leave it at 2. Still 5 subs at this level, but we're playing well. I don't want to change too much. I could go positive, chase the game here. Could encourage the lads again who look confident. But now it's a Porter down corner. You just know what's going to happen. And it's going to be the most infuriating start to a year. Gorn puts it in to the front post. McGinty heads in. Oh my words. There are so many swear words I want to say now. But with 15 to go, we've got to take the positives. This has been a fabulous performance. But my word, it's a frustrating result. As Latifa plays a 1-2 with Dobbin. Finds Crow on the right-hand side. Crosses blocked. Now do we start to panic and maybe lose out on chances? As Gorn brings it away. No one's putting a challenge in on him. Latifa eventually does. Falls for Gallagher, fortunately. Latifa wins it a second time. Dobbin into Orkin. Don't panic. Don't try and play the Hollywood ball. Do it sensibly, please. It's away to Walker. Porterdown are very content with the 1 goal. You can tell that. Walker carries it forward. McAlatten's in. Gets 1-on-1. Oh, he's hit the post. He was offside anyway. We're going to have to make more changes here. Dobbin's going to come off. He's knackered. Wayne Murphy on. I'm also going to take off Convey, who's having a poor game. Buchanan on. Latifa will become that inverted winger off the left. We did it a few times last year. And then at the back, I can either take off Bell or Orkin. Orkin's knackered. He will come off for Jack Donaghy. And with 15 minutes to go, we somehow find ourselves 1-0 down. I mean, the stats are absolutely baffling. 26 shots to 3, 7 on target to 1, 2.5 expected goals to 0.3. And we are 1-0 down at home. We're still dominating the game though, as Heaney gets the ball down the right from the throw-in. Cross towards Latifa. Up at the back post, straight at the keeper. Oh, come on. I don't know what more we can do. It's one of the best performances I can ever remember. And we're somehow losing as Latifa gets on the end of a long ball from Crow. Well defended, but only cleared as far as McKeown, who flicks on. Wilson gives it away to Heaney, who's been fabulous at that, winning the ball back there. As Crow gives it through again. Intercepted. It's that final ball. It's just not quite there. I'm going to keep encouraging them. Buchanan down the right. Murphy's released. Across to McAlatten. He's missed from a yard. He's hit it straight at the goalkeeper from 1 yard out. The expected goals is 3.15 and we're going to lose 1-0. I have never been FM'd worse in FM23 so far. That is the most dominant display we'll have all season. And if we can't put the ball away, I mean, it just shows you the Leon Boyd unhappiness. It makes such a difference. If he'd been in good spirits, if he'd been in form, we would have won that 3 or 4-1. What a performance. What an awful result. Now let's go and see when we're going to be back, because next month things get tricky. Well, I don't really know what to make of that. Maybe you can help me in the comments, because I think that might actually be our best single performance in this entire save. But somehow we've lost, and let's be honest, it's our most winnable home game of the season, so we do have to potentially be concerned. I'm going to come back next month and show the other end of the scale. If there's going to be signings, it will be the 2 that we've already got on trial. Otherwise, I don't see any other big improvements. The only other potential one I'm keeping an eye on is whether Chris Johnston goes back on the loan list, but I don't see that happening anytime soon. For now, though, we reflect on what I think is a really good and sensible summer. If you did enjoy it, the pain, the heartache, please do put a thumbs up on it. Let me know what you thought of the performance, the transfer window, and how we've managed to lose that one. If you want to stay up to date, see if the results start to match performances, then do subscribe and turn that notification bell on. Check out the HelloFresh offer down in the description, and thank you as always for watching. We'll be back with the head coach tomorrow, an interesting season in that one, and then we'll be back here in 2 days' time to try and bounce back from that remarkable defeat.